So, as you know, the Detroit Lions have an injury to Sam Laporta. And the question we have to ask is there a chance he's going to make it back? And Dan Campbell came out and said right after the game that while the injury is not as serious as we originally thought, or feared, I guess is the better way to say that, he's going to be out a little while. And what that tells me is that he's definitely going to be out this week, and he's definitely going to be out next week. So, is there a chance? Yes. There's always a chance that, especially when it comes playoff time. But do I think that's a really good chance, and do I think he'd be very effective? I don't. So when I went to the internet and started trying to find certain things, I found a very interesting article about another direction the Detroit Lions could go that I thought we would at least talk about because it might be helpful. And it was the pros and cons of the Detroit Lions signing Zack Ertz. Now, we know who this guy is. He was a phenomenal Pro Bowl tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles. He then went, as he started getting older, to play with the Arizona Cardinals, where he has now been replaced. But he seemingly is healthy, and the question is, could he help our offense? And the long and short of it is no, I don't think he could. Like, the idea that we bring him in now, bring him in today, bring him in tomorrow, whatever, and then that he's up to speed enough by Sunday is very difficult at the tight end position. We have talked about the tight end position and how offensively it may be the second most difficult position to learn an offense. I got a hair here or something. All right, it might be the second most difficult position on the offense to learn behind quarterback. You have to know blocking assignments. You have to know passing assignments. You have to get on the same page with your quarterback. Man, zone, how they're covering you, where the soft spot. I mean, there are so many things that are changing and moving pieces when it comes to bringing in a tight end. Like, we know Laporta hyperextended his knee, but I don't know that this is now the time to start evaluating these external options like Zack Herz. So I wanted to look inward. All right. Last year, I want to bring you back to last year because we talk about, is there hope? Right. And so what we need to talk about is last year, after TJ Hawkinson was traded, all of a sudden the Detroit Lions had tight ends that just started going off for touchdowns. And it's because nobody was looking to them. It's not because they weren't any good, right? I mean, they weren't great, like what we had, but it's a lot of what we have now. It was Brock Wright, who just may. Now, you want to talk about a guy who has a chance to be healthy for this game. Brock Wright has a better chance of getting healthy. All right. I think he could be the guy that could be in there blocking. He's even shown that he can do some stuff this year. All right. It's just that Sam Laporta has been so good that we haven't seen a ton of Brock Wright. If Brock Wright's healthy, he is a serviceable tight end in this position. We know that. He's not going to be dominating him with his pass receiving skills. All right. But he's not a bad player. Then you can go ahead and look at James Mitchell. James Mitchell also is a player that has just been developing and developing and developing. You would hope to see something from him, kind of like what you saw out of Ifeatu Melifonwu. I mean, he was a guy, James Mitchell, that was drafted, I believe, in the 5th round out of Virginia Tech, but he would have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick if he wasn't. He would have been drafted in a position not like where Laporta was. Laporta was a high 2nd round pick, low 1st round pick type grade. But he would have been in that 50s, 60s, 70s range for being drafted. He had a lot of skills. He had just torn an ACL. We also have on our practice squad right now, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Ferguson. All right, Anthony Ferguson, what I remember him for was the guy that would steal touches from another tight end with the Tennessee Titans back in the late teens, 20 teens. And when you look at Pro Football Focus, he's a guy that honestly played really well. Like, he was, his best 2 years were 2020 and 2021 for the Titans. And then he went to Atlanta and just didn't get a lot of run. He probably went there with their head coach, who is now fired, when he left Tennessee. And it just didn't work out for him. But he had some good years in between then. He's not like this guy, but that he's like a physical dominating presence. But he's a smart cerebral player. And I know it's easy to say that because he went to Harvard. He was drafted in 2017, and by 2018, he had found himself with the Titans. Had a career high of 39 receptions, career high of 3 touchdowns. Like, it's not like he's not going to light anybody's hair on fire, but he's a good number 2. And he's a guy you can put in there that can catch the ball, that can do a couple things up the seam. Like, it's not the end of the world. So do I think we should bring Zack Herz in? Yes. Why not? Do I think he'll make a big difference this week? No, I don't. If you think Laporta is going to be out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, then yeah, bring Zack Herz in and he can play more and more and more. He's battle tested. He's been to and won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been on good teams. He's been on bad teams. He's played well no matter where he's been in whatever offensive system he's been in. So do I think he could be helpful? Absolutely, if you believe Laporta is going to miss a month. If you think Laporta is going to be healthy in this week or next week, I don't think it's worth it, because I don't think you bring in Zack Herz to get better for the game against the Rams. I think you bring in Zack Herz to get better for the second round or the third round of the playoffs, for the divisional round or the championship round. I will say there is a little something to knowing that Zack Herz played a year and a half at Arizona, in which they were playing against the Rams. So there is some knowledge of what the Rams try and do defensively, because he's such a seasoned vet and a good pro, there might be some help there, but I mean, it's small. Like, it's really small. I'm not buying into that overall big time. But here's what we know about Laporta. It is a hyperextended knee with a bone bruise. Both of those the bone bruise is usually a couple weeks. The hyperextended knee, it just depends on how your body responds. Like, Laporta's had that thing with the calf, but his body seems to heal and respond quick enough that his soft tissue muscle things seem to heal really fast. So the hyperextension there and the ligaments and the muscles around the knee, he might be a fast healer that would get him to a point where, yeah, he could be at 80% on that knee or something like that. The bone bruise is going to be a pain tolerance thing. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't know if there's any hope or not, but what I absolutely do know is that the Lions are okay. They have Brock Wright, hopefully healthy. They have James Mitchell, and they have guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and all that kind of stuff that absolutely will help them in a pinch if they're struggling. So let me know what you think. Is there a chance that Laporta comes back? If not, do you think we'll be all right? Leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love having you part of the community, and hopefully see you on the next one.